Cape values are forecast to hit 2,000 joules per kilogram across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama by Wednesday. That is the level where forecasters stop watching casually and start watching carefully, a number you have to go back nearly 30 years, all the way to 1997 to find this early in May. And somewhere in central North Dakota right now, a rancher named Frank is watching walls of smoke on the horizon. He doesn't need a weather model to tell him what 25% humidity and 45-mile-per-hour northwest gusts feel like. After this forecast, stay with me because at the 7-minute mark, I'm going to show you something about the Mother's Day weekend severe setup. And if you make it to the end, there is genuine good news about drought recovery and real good news, not me trying to soften the blow. Let's start with today, Monday, May 4th. There are two completely separate weather stories playing out right now across very different parts of the country. The first is fire weather. Critical fire weather conditions are in effect right now across western and central North Dakota, Bismarck, Minot, Williston, and also across parts of Illinois and Missouri, including Springfield and Peoria. We're talking 25% humidity, winds gusting 20 to 45 miles per hour, and bone-dry fuels. Northern Michigan, Traverse City, Pesky, Gaylord, Alpena, special weather statements are also flying there. This is not a typical early May setup, it's more like what you'd expect in a drought-ridden summer. Frank, a rancher I mentioned, told his neighbor this morning that conditions outside feel worse than anything he's seen this early since 2012. He's not cutting a single corner, no fires, no unattended equipment. No fire, because in this kind of wind, a spark is all it takes. The second weather story today is a marginal severe risk from the Storm Prediction Center covering eastern Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and into western Ohio and southern Michigan. Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago, Indianapolis, Columbus, Milwaukee. You're in a zone where isolated to scattered thunderstorms will develop by late afternoon. Today's main threats are gusty winds and some hail. The tornado threat is low to near zero. Keep your weather apps handy, but this is not a day to panic. Now let's zoom out and look at why this week's severe weather setup is fundamentally different from the pattern we've been stuck in. What we are entering is what meteorologists call a negative Niño, a buckling of the upper atmospheric pattern over the North Atlantic that reshapes the jet stream. Think of it as a traffic jam in the sky. Instead of storms racing through quickly, they get stuck and draw up vast amounts of Gulf moisture. That's what's happening this week. The low pressure coming off the California coast is going to fuel a subtropical jet stream, essentially a fire hose of warm, moist air aimed straight at the southern United States. The severe weather that dominated late April was driven by a strong upper low in Canada feeding cold, unfavorable air south. That limited how organized storms could get. This week, the engine is Gulf moisture, and the fuel is instability that will climb to levels we rarely see in early May. Here's the number that keeps stopping me: cold 2,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE combined with the wind shear profiles the models are showing for Tuesday and Wednesday. When you cross that threshold, in the deep south in early May, you are in a zone where any supercell that forms can produce significant severe weather. And the meteorological community has been saying quietly among themselves that Wednesday's setup is one of the most concerning they've seen this spring. Let's break down the timeline. Monday night into Tuesday morning, a warm front will lift north across Texas and Oklahoma. Dew points will climb into the low 60s, and isolated supercells may fire near the dry line. However, there is a critical wildcard for Tuesday afternoon across North Texas, a cap of warm air aloft. If that cap holds, storms will struggle to form. If it breaks, the environment over Dallas-Fort Worth and southeastern Oklahoma will be primed for very large hail, damaging winds and tornadoes, including the possibility of a strong tornado. The significant tornado parameter values spike after 5 p.m. Tuesday for that region, so it's something we will be watching minute by minute. Further east, Tuesday evening and overnight, a cluster of storms will race across Arkansas into western Tennessee. Memphis and Nashville, you're in the Tuesday overnight picture. The main threat there will be damaging winds as the storms congeal into a line. Wednesday, May 6th. This is the day that has everyone's attention. The severe weather train shifts south and east, centering on East Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the western Florida panhandle. Now, I need you to understand the two scenarios that are still on the table. Scenario 1, The more concerning of the two is discrete supercell mode, individual, rotating thunderstorms ahead of the main line. Each one could produce a strong, long-track tornado. Scenario 2, which current guidance is leaning toward, is a squall line or clustered storm mode where the tornado threat is still present but embedded within a line of damaging winds. Right now I lean scenario 2, but Wednesday is not settled enough to call with full confidence. And that is exactly why your preparation window is now, plain and simple. Whether we get supercells or a squall line, the Gulf Coast states from Houston to Birmingham are in a serious, severe weather zone. All hazards, very large hail, destructive winds, and tornadoes are possible. Carol, a 57-year-old schoolteacher outside Houston, has been watching El Niño years bring some of the wettest and wildest springs. She has her shelter plan ready, her weather app alert set, and her family knows the drill. I want every family in that corridor to match Carol's mindset by Tuesday night. Know your safe room. Know where the kids will be. Have multiple ways to receive warnings that will wake you up at night. By Thursday, May 7th, the system pushes east into the Carolinas, Georgia, and Virginia. The severe threat will be somewhat lower but still includes damaging winds and hail. There will also be significant beneficial rainfall for drought-stressed areas of the southeast, which is a part of the good news I promised. For the northeast, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Thursday and Friday bring rain and gusty winds as the low deepens near eastern Canada, but no widespread severe outbreak is expected. Now, let me connect the dots between the fire weather, the severe weather, and the drought relief because they are all driven by the same atmospheric pattern. The same northwest flow that is creating bone-dry, fire-prone conditions across the Dakotas is also funneling cold air south, while a subtropical jet, supercharged by El Niño, pumps record-breaking Gulf moisture northward. The El Niño index has made a near 1 degree Celsius jump in equatorial Pacific sea surface temperatures in just the past month, and the Climate Prediction Center is already trending toward issuing a weak El Niño advisory by May 14th. What El Niño does is activate that subtropical fire hose and lock it in place for weeks. That's why this pattern feels relentless. It is relentless. But there is a silver lining. The rain that will fall across Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas this week is landing on some of the most drought-stressed soil in the country. We are already seeing meaningful drought improvement, and this week adds to it. The seasonal drought outlook shows significant improvement likely across much of the South in May. That after years of drought and wildfires is genuine good news, not me trying to balance the forecast. Looking ahead to Mother's Day weekend, another system is already taking shape. It could bring another round of severe weather and heavy rainfall to the central and southern plains, with 1 to 3 inches of rain possible across Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Flash flood concerns will rise. For the upper Midwest and northern plains, the news is much better. Drier conditions, moderating temperatures, and excellent windows for fieldwork. Higher elevation snow is even possible in Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Here is your flat-out action plan, broken down by region. If you're in the fire weather zones, North Dakota, Central Illinois, Missouri, do not light anything today and avoid any activity that could spark a blaze. If you're in Kansas City, Chicago, Indianapolis, Columbus, or Milwaukee, today is your wind and hail day. Keep your app open, but no need to hunker down. If you're in Northeast Texas, Southeast Oklahoma, Arkansas, or the lower Ohio Valley, Tuesday is your concern day. The cap could break, so be ready. If you're in Houston, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, or the Tennessee Valley, Wednesday is your main event, all hazards possible, and you must have your shelter plan finalized before Tuesday night. If you're in the Carolinas, Georgia, or Virginia, Thursday is your day, mainly hail and wind with some beneficial rainfall. And for the Northeast, Thursday and Friday bring rain and gusty winds. No matter where you are, charge your phone, turn on your NWS weather alerts, and know the difference between a watch and a warning before this afternoon. For mobile home residents anywhere across the deep South, East Texas, or the Tennessee Valley, I am speaking directly to you. A mobile home is not safe in severe thunderstorm conditions. Full stop, no exceptions. Get your off-site shelter identified today. Drop your city in the comments right now. Tell me what the sky looks like outside your window, which day of this week you're most focused on, and whether you're seeing drought or wildfire improvement where you live. I check comments all day, and if your area goes under a warning this week, I'll come back with a specific update for you. We are tracking every NWS and SPC update, every model run, and every shift in this pattern. Tuesday through Thursday will move fast, and Wednesday especially is not fully written yet. But we will be right here every single step of the way. Turn on your notifications, share this video with someone you care about in the risk zones, and stay weather aware. This pattern is not done being